Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to New Day with SSJ minus SSJ. New Day without SSJ. My name is Nate Bukaty. I'll be filling in today. Steven will be back Tuesday, I believe. On a Tuesday. Busy show today. We got Sherman Dieter in studio early, Jake. They're going to be here at 6:30. By the way, I should mention Jake Gutierrez running the show as always. He was locked into that space shuttle launch thing that happened yesterday. What was that? Something, the rocket ship that's going to the moon, allegedly.
The Artemis?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sure it is.
And Deeb's here today as well. We got Sherman Dieter coming in studio. It's starting at 6:30 today. They got somewhere to be, huh? So.
Yeah, I think Dieter wants to go up and watch Kansas spring practice.
Oh, nice.
Football.
We got some Kansas news.
Boy, do we ever.
Man, hang on for a moment on that.
What a shocker.
Bus were only 7:30.
Who would have known?
Well, the insiders might not have known. The insiders might have. Anyway, we'll get there. Bus were only 7:30. Talk baseball.
Buster.
Oh man, I'm excited. It's one thing about this new cadence where I'm just in every once in a while. I don't get to talk to a lot of the guys that we've known for
The Thursday guest.
decade and a half. Buster Olney, one of the best.
The best.
Just a great guy. Pam Kramer, CEO of KC 2026, will be in studio 8 o'clock. Our man Jarrett Sutton will start previewing the Final Four. He'll be on at 8:30. And then we got Jesse Newell in studio at 9:05. Royals win 13-9. It was a weird game. There was fog. There was rain. The bottom of the order continues to produce for the Kansas City Royals, which is a great sign early in the year. We have to say it about good and bad things. It's early. We can't draw too many conclusions yet, but hey, the Royals are above 500 for the first time this season. And they're doing it in large part because of the guys at the bottom of the order, which was a massive problem for the team last year. Look at the 7, 8, 9 hitters yesterday, went a combined 10 for 16. Cags went 3 for 4, which is great to see. Collins with a big 2 runs, a big double with an RBI and a walk. And then Isbell was 4 for 4. And Jonathan India, 6th in the order, so towards the bottom, too, has the grand slam, as you heard there, the Sonic Slam. So, big win for the Royals. Noah Cameron pitched well. The bullpen, not so much. Urseg had to finally come in and close the thing, but he did in 7 pitches, so that was good. So, we'll talk Royals. They win, but I do think the biggest news in the region is what Jake was alluding to a moment ago. So, Jake, let me state the news, by the way, first, because people might not know if they're just waking up. Bill Self has announced that he will return as the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks.
I'm staying.
That was not Bill Self. That was Roy Williams, who did stay one time, and then the next time did not stay. Bill Self's not, as far as we know, not contemplating going anywhere else, but he was contemplating whether or not he should keep coaching. And his quote, with renewed clarity and the ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to Kansas basketball competing for a national championship. I look forward to seeing and hearing the best fans in college basketball next season at Allen Fieldhouse. So, Jake, you're not surprised?
No. I was pretty steadfast in my belief that he was staying. I mean, almost to a belligerent point that Steven's like, you're just going to be belligerent about this, aren't you? And I said, yeah, I am. I don't know. When someone says that they love doing what they do, I mean, I think it would take, a whole lot of negative to get somebody off that. And look, he's had health issues. That's been known. But I don't know. I just, this fake report that came out on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, had people in uproar last week, and but it was clearly a fake account. I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's fake accounts, and then there's also a handful of people that want to label themselves as insiders.
Sure.
Self-proclaimed insiders,
Yeah.
and they've apparently there's.
I mean, if you're familiar with AI today, that guy's picture was completely AI, but I don't know.
Well,
Sure, people put AI pictures of themselves up, but I started asking people who work around college basketball, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? Do you know? And nobody was like, yeah, I've seen that guy covering a basketball game at this NCAA tournament venue, or when I asked 6 people who are people on a regular basis that cover college basketball, and not one of them is like, yeah, I've run into him, or yeah, I've talked to him. And it's like, okay,
it's a red flag.
yeah, this guy probably doesn't exist.
Yeah. And it's not that hard to create that. But what I'm saying is there are also real humans who have decided that, and apparently it works on some level, if you label yourself an insider and just call yourself an insider enough and throw out predictions that are wrong, people will, it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. You just throw out a prediction. You're 50-50. So he's either going to retire or he's not. So you throw it out there, and you get yourself some airtime on some places, and you get your clicks, all that stuff. You get your engagement. And then I don't know what happens afterwards, because, I mean, some of those insiders also have had Kansas in the Big Ten in a matter of days, which was years ago. And then still claiming to be inside source on things, who were saying that, oh, man, this, hearing Bill Self's really going to do it. He's really going to retire. I was, everywhere I went this past weekend, I was in town rarely this time around this weekend, and at my daughter's soccer game, my son's games, people would come, hey, what's Self going to do? What's Self going to do? And I don't know. He doesn't know what he's going to do. Like, if you want to be an insider on something and claim you know something that the person who's making the decision hasn't decided yet, then you're lying. That was the thing with the whole thing about the Big Ten when the conference realignment was happening, and this, people were saying, "Oh, I'm hearing it's a done deal, Big Ten." And I would call people and say, is this in the ballpark? Is this right? And they'd go, ballpark's not even the right sport. Like, the people that are deciding who ends up in what conference don't know what's going to happen. They're trying to figure it out. So, if I sit there last week, and now you're making a prediction, Jake, based on, you're not saying I have inside information that he's going to stay. At least I don't think you said that.
No, I mean, you use your intuition.
Yeah.
You use discernment. You discern what you've seen and what you know from the guy's past record, and you get a feeling.
And you take what he said, which, like you said, was, I love what I do.
Right. It's not like, oh, this is a grind. It's really tearing on me. I don't really enjoy doing this anymore. I really have to evaluate where I'm coming from. It's like, whoa, those kind of words would make you be like, oh,
yeah,
this guy.
Yeah. I just got to see if I've got the if I've got
energy to do it.
Yeah, the desire.
Right.
That wasn't the case. It was like, I got to make sure I'm healthy.
Yeah. And I got to talk to my family, which makes complete sense. And he kind of gave you a peek inside how he evaluates moving forward here, because he mentioned that, hey, look, I used to look at things in 5-year increments. Now it's 1 or 2 year increments.
Yeah.
So he used to look, hey, what's next 5 years look like? Now he looks at it differently, rightfully so. He's at a different point in his career. So
well, think about it. I think about it like this: when I get together with a bunch of my old college buddies, almost all of them make significantly more money than I do, and most of them dislike their job quite a bit. And I'm in the opposite boat. I don't make as much money as them, but I'm doing what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. So a lot of their energy and stress is, how much longer am I going to have to do this job where I don't have to do it anymore? And what can I do next? Like, is there something else I can do because I'm tired of doing this. And for me, the stress is always, how long are they going to let me do this? I stress out about this all coming to an end at some point. And somebody going, hey, we don't want you anymore. Because that's what happens in broadcasting, right? Like, you don't really get to decide most of the time. They decide for you. Yeah, we're moving in another direction. We don't want you. And so that's the way I look at it. Now, when you're Bill Self, you have that kind of job and you get paid massively.
Right.
You get paid handsomely and you have that job. So you don't even need it for the money. You just love what you do. And you're going to do it as long as you can. And you see coaches, I mean, we've seen enough coaches who are like that. They try out life without coaching. And usually they go, I don't like this. I want to get back into coaching.
Look, Bill Snyder couldn't not coach.
Right.
Like, he tried to go away from coaching. He ended up right back doing what he loves to do, what he was meant to do. Right?
Yeah, I think it gave him energy.
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview like Seinfeld did with Howard Stern, and they were talking about this was back when the Jordan documentary came out, The Last Dance,
2020,
and Howard was asking him, like, didn't you take away, just how hard you got to work at something to be great at it? Like that's one of the big takeaways from the documentary that I had, and Seinfeld goes, No, what I took away was how much you got to love something to be great at it. Because when you love something with all your heart, you give everything you have to it, and you don't think of it as work. So when I was writing the great jokes that I had, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not thinking to myself, oh, I'm grinding so hard, it's 2 in the morning, I'm writing this joke. I'm thinking to myself, I got a joke that's going to kill, and I can't wait to write it down. That's all I'm thinking about, It's that love. And so that's Bill Self. Are there parts of the job that he probably finds incredibly frustrating? 100%.
Well, I pulled the comments. Here's what he said after that press conference.
Well, I haven't really gone through much on the court. I've gone through some stuff off the court. So I'll get back and get with family and visit and see what's going on. I love what I do. I need to be able to do it where I'm feeling good and healthy to do it, fairly well. So I'll get back home and it'll all be discussed. Sam McDowell.
That part too, I think, is key. Like, I got to be able to do it well.
Right.
I mean, we just talked about that with Boddicker yesterday. When you get to the end of your career and you're like, yeah, I don't have my same stuff that I used to have. I don't want to do this anymore. And look, there's a lot of people out there that have enjoyed taking shots at KU and Bill Self, and some of them KU fans themselves, about the performance of the team in the long 4 years since they won their last national title. They have made it out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And now the NIL era is different. So I think he feels like he's got something to prove, too, which is kind of crazy to me, like a Hall of Fame coach that's won 2 national titles and God knows, 14 in a row conference titles and everything else that he's done. I kind of get the sense that he feels like he's got a little chip on his shoulder and something to prove. So we'll see how much longer he goes, but he's back for now. Bill Self, the head coach, the Kansas Jayhawks. And I assume, Jake, you're happy with this news?
Oh, thrilled, but also not shocked at all.
Right.
But, I was sure, it was a discussion, and it kind of, and it probably will be moving forward, right? And I think it was the first time that you really, as for me as a Kansas fan, thought about life without Bill Self.
Yeah, we talked.
Right.
You had to because
it was the first time the discussion has really. It's been mentioned like, oh, maybe the NBA would be interested in Oklahoma City, and you never.
Oklahoma State reached out a couple times when their job was open.
Right, but for a real possibility that this might be the future, like what's it look like without Bill Self? That's the first time I've ever taken that conversation halfway serious.
Yeah, I think you had to because of the comments you just played. He at least entertained the fact that it was going to be a discussion with his family, and so that means you got to entertain it. I would say one thing, in the past, you can make the argument that it would hurt Bill Self in recruiting to be in a year-by-year situation, right? Like,
Absolutely.
You know, the other coaches would have probably used that against him. Hey, you go sign with KU. You don't even know who your coach is going to be in a couple years.
I got a 4-year contract. I'll be here for your whole career.
That's why they'd always give the coach that extra year on the contract. Well, let's keep him on that 4-year contract, just so he can recruit.
Yeah, completely different landscape.
I don't think anybody cares about that now.
No one does at all.
Like,
every player's a free agent.
How much are you going to pay me this year?
Right.
That's all I care about.
Every player's a free agent after every year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where I'm going to be next year.
Right.
So, let's just see how much you got for me this year. That's pretty much what it comes down to right now. So, I guess that's a positive for KU right there. That doesn't affect. I can't imagine that's going to affect recruiting in any way, shape, or form. What's going to affect it is what their NIL budget is. And that's the landscape that we live in right now. All right, so Bill Self, he's coming back. It does look like there's going to be a lot of turnover on the Kansas roster, but who wouldn't you say that about in college athletics these days? I mean, we all assume Darren Peterson's going to be a very high draft pick. There's players with scholarship eligibility remaining. Flory Badunga, Elmarco Jackson, Jamari McDowell probably would be at the top of the list. I mean, Rosario and Bryson Tiller. We'll see. I'll be interested to see what happens with Badunga. I don't think he should go to the pros yet, and if they can afford to keep him around. I think if you look at the type of growth he made from last year to this year, he takes one more step and maybe adds a little offense to his game. He could end up becoming a really, really good NBA prospect. He's got everything physically and all that, but we'll see what happens there. So that's the news on Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks. He's coming back. In the words of Roy Williams, he's staying. Again, the quote, "With renewed clarity and the ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to Kansas basketball competing for a national championship. I look forward to seeing and hearing the best fans in college basketball next season at Allen Fieldhouse," which will be here before you know it. There you go. Thanks, Roy. We appreciate you. All right, Royals 13-9 winners. They were up, 12-1? In this game at one point. That is 7 runs, 6th inning, and honestly, I will admit to you, I turned the television off at that point. Okay, this game's put to bed. And then I got on my phone and saw that all of a sudden it was a close game again in the 8th inning. And then in the 9th inning, they gave up 3 runs. They had to bring in Urseg. He was able to close it down, and they got the win. So it wasn't pretty. But it was another good starting performance. That's the thing when you look at the scores today, you might think that it wasn't so. But Noah Cameron, for his first time out, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 run allowed. He allowed exactly a base runner per inning, and so his ERA is 1.80 after his first start of the year, and he's 1-0. And the Twins, their ace, who has had a lot of success. It's been really difficult for the Royals in the past to face Joe Ryan. They got after him. They put up 5 runs in 4 innings on him. So that was great news. And 2 more home runs from the bottom of the order. We want to see if India can have a bounce-back season after having a disappointing year a year ago. He did so with at least yesterday with the big grand slam. So 5 RBIs, a couple big base hits. And the Royals get the win, and they're now they've won 3 in a row, and they're above 500. So good news on the Kansas City Royals front. We'll talk more baseball with Buster Olney at 7:30, and maybe a little bit in the 9 o'clock hour. Jesse Newell as well. We got a busy show coming up. Again, Sherman Dieter coming up in studio next. Pam Kramer from KC 2026 will join us at 8 o'clock. Jarrett Sutton at 8:30. And Jesse Newell in the 9 o'clock hour. That's all straight ahead. This is A New Day with SSJ.
a unique draft. So it's one of those drafts where, listen, there's great players up and down the board. It's there's not 4 quarterbacks, and they're
Myles Garrett's not in this
Myles
draft.
Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson. They're not in that draft. But again, not to say there aren't great players in this draft. But that's where we want to get a lot of work done in free agency and have flexibility and add a great player that's going to come in here and help us win and help us compete. But I think we have a lot of work to do on both sides of the football, and we added Kenneth Walker, and we have some good core pieces on the offensive line in place. But whether it be receiver or edge rusher or defensive back, I think really anything's in play. And it's hard to say when you're at 9 because you don't know how the first 8 picks are going to go. I mean, I can tell you if we were picking 2, who would be a likely candidate, but picking 9, you're kind of at the mercy of some of these other teams and their decisions. So I think it's just a matter of going through all the scenarios and being prepared to take to work through who's left, and so we'll see how it goes.
Veach, talking about the draft coming up. Less than a month away, Jay, can you believe it?
Was it April 23rd?
April 23rd through the 25th in Pittsburgh, PA. At Point State Park. That's one town I've really not spent hardly any time in, is Pittsburgh.
It's all right. It's a weird place.
Weird place?
I mean, it's weird because you're driving through, you leave the airport and you're just kind of in the country, and then you go underneath a mountain, and then you pop out, and here's a big city.
Yeah?
It's real weird.
I've never left the airport. I guess we've gone to Pittsburgh when we used to go to West Virginia for KU football, but we stayed way out in was it West? I don't know. I can't remember the name of the suburb where they had the horse races. What do they call the horse races where the guys sit in that little basket in the back?
Chariot races?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they call it chariot.
No, I don't know. Anyways, we stayed at one of those places.
You can gamble on them.
That's my only knowledge of Pittsburgh. But that's when the draft is, April 23rd through the 25th. We got half of Sherman Dieter in studio. Sherm found out that I was in.
Yeah, basically when I called him, he said he was listening. He said, "Nate's on. I'm gonna stay home today." So Sherm's home. He'll be all right.
We so 2 days of doing the show, we've had 2 guests that found out that I was in that decided to bail. Basically, one got sick, and what's Sherm's excuse now? He's got
his wife had softball practice at St. James this morning, so
yeah,
miscommunication.
What's up, dude?
How we doing,
Mr. Opening Day here? I saw half of your face a lot.
I'm sure you did. Opening day is always fun. Energy's there. I mean, you can't beat baseball. I mean, I love baseball. I mean, it's right up there with football for me at this point in my life. So I really enjoy. I mean, the Kauffman's a great stadium. I'm not a Royals guy, obviously, but I don't mind them.
That's all. They've only moved that far. They haven't gone to my second favorite team or anything like that. I don't mind them.
I say they're my second favorite team on Twitter, but I'm not. I could care less about them if they win or lose. I mean, it's fun to go to games. I do enjoy being at the K. I think it's one of the better environments in baseball. But yeah, man, the Yankees are bust for me.
Yeah, first time we met you was at a opening day.
I think I've been to 5 or 6 in my 9 years here, 10 years here, 26. Yeah, 10 years.
So did you know you were on television right when they started showing you guys?
No, honestly, no. I mean, you will be at some point with Pat, but I don't. Everybody thinks I think about that. I like to enjoy the game, and had my youngest daughter with me, so we're just enjoying some ball.
Did she get on camera? I don't know if I saw her on camera. Did she get any camera time?
Lisa Gittner, she was holding her for 3 innings, so she was in the row right behind us for a little bit. But
so you made sure you got the camera time and not your daughter.
No, she was actually on the jumbotron with Lisa.
Oh, nice!
Before the game, and I missed getting the picture of it. But yeah, perfect weather for some baseball. I'll tell you that.
Man, I mean, as today is and yesterday is a perfect example of what you could get.
Oh, yeah.
This time of year, and I feel like there have been so many opening days that I've gone to
This is what it's been the last.
Yeah.
I mean, almost every other opening day I've been to has been like this.
Rainy and cold.
Cloudy, rainy, cold.
Yeah. Windy.
Yeah.
It's that late March, early April weather
yeah.
around here, and we've had it like back and forth. It's been but it was 85 degrees.
It was hot. I mean, it really did feel like
Yeah.
a July.
Was it the warmest opening day ever?
Yeah, that's what they were
for
saying on the
Royals?
broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like a summer day, so you can't beat it. K was packed. It was a good game. They got some things to fix on their team, but that's all right.
Well, every team has their issues.
They just need to flip their lineup. They got too many good bats at the bottom. They got too many. They got too much trust in some of their bigger names.
They got too many good bats at the bottom of the order. That's a new thing. That wasn't. I mean, I was looking at their OPS for their bottom 5 hitters last year, and it's
This is last year, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this year.
Yeah. So who do you want to see at the top of the order?
I think Isabel should be the leadoff guy. And then you should go Bobby. Then I would put Cags, and then I would go Garcia, and then I would go Vinny, and then I would go Salvi, and then the rest you can just throw in after that.
I got it right. This is some hot take stuff. I like this. This is outside the box. We
Yeah.
got Isbell leading off.
Oh yeah.
Just based on the last couple games. I
Yeah.
mean, because you don't care about what he did last year at all. You don't
No.
care about what his career numbers are.
No, baseball's, especially if you're not a superstar, baseball's kind of where are you right now. So if I'm putting a lineup together, that's my lineup at the moment.
All right. So we had Isbell, then
Isbell, then Bobby,
Bobby. Okay, you're keeping Bobby up there. Okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
we were dropping him.
and then
You were.
Cags.
Okay, Cag's already hitting third.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh boy.
And then Garcia,
Michael hitting cleanup.
then Vinny, and then I would stick Salvi down there, probably 6 or 7,
Okay.
and then I guess Jensen's their DH.
Yeah, you got
Stick-
Collins.
Yeah, stick Jensen right after Salvi, and then the other two you can flip flop
Wow.
however you want
And
it.
then India's bringing up the rear here.
Yeah.
You saw he had a grand slam last night. You
I
don't
did
want to
see
bump
that.
him up now?
No, I mean they were blowing those guys out at that point.
Yeah. They had to hold on at the end, but they got to win. So what's it like watching a game with Pat? Is he locked in? Is he breaking down pitches and stuff? Is he just taking it easy? You guys talking about life?
No, I mean just normal, just like you're watching a game with a buddy. I mean it's nothing different.
Yeah, but you got some buddies like me that'll just blah 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 blah, not talk about the game, and you got other guys that are locked in on every pitch.
Yeah, most
somewhere
of it,
in the middle.
Yeah, most of it's the game. Most of it's
Yeah.
talking about the game, what's going on, to a degree. I mean, we're having fun, but it was hilarious when I'm pretty sure it was Cags. I think Cags threw his bat, struck out, and his bat went flying in the dugout.
Yeah.
Was that Cags?
Yeah,
That was a funny moment in the game. I screamed. I mean, I almost took one of the head. I think it almost killed somebody in the dugout. I mean, that thing went flying.
Oh yeah, that's dangerous. That happens.
That was a good moment. That was funny. ABS system is actually really fun in person
Yeah,
because it's the whole crowd gets into it, and then you can boo or you can cheer. So that's a fun moment where the whole crowd gets it's one unifying moment.
yeah.
That's pretty fun. What else is fun about
Salvi
today?
was it opening day? Salvi got him 3 times. That was in
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the Yanks are 15 out of 16 right now with ABS challenges. So, I mean, it's good. I think they were saying something about it's set up for the front of the plate, not the middle of the plate, which I thought the strike zone was the front of the plate. So I feel like everybody's learning what it actually is and what it's actually going to do for the season. But I think it's a good thing. I think it holds those umpires accountable. The umpire that was there for opening day for the Royals game he was elite. I mean, I looked it up. I think he was 98% with the calls throughout the day.
That's awesome.
So I feel like it's just a system that's going to hold those guys accountable. There's too many times where, you see the CB Buckners of the world, some of these umpires that just have a crazy strike zone, and you can't do anything about it other than just it's there and you have to swing, or Yeah, I think it's just going to create better baseball overall because guys are going to hit better.
Accountability.
Pitchers are going to pitch a little bit cleaner. They're not going to cheat the edge of the strike zone if the umpire is more favorable to that side. So I think it's a good thing. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I love it. the biggest example, I think one of the most famous moments in postseason history was Eric Gregg's strike zone in 1997 when it was like a foot outside and it just kept moving further outside. Like that's something that, like, it's funny and it's memorable, but you're like,
I see all the clips. Like you see the old school clips, and it's like these guys are literally set up a foot off the plate, and they're hitting the mitt, but they're set up a foot off there. You're like, come on, man. Can't do anything about it.
And they used to talk about like each ump had like his own interpretation of the strike zone.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just like his own opinion. This is what I think.
Umpires, referees, they all have their what's the word? I guess umpires is nuances, but like some referees in the NFL might call holding more and more.
Yeah,
like
they have a perspective.
You have a scouting report on the refs, but now I think it's just more boom. This is what it is. They're not going to call it. Be disciplined with the strike zone, and you'll be all right. Yeah,
I love it. And because, like you said, if the umpire gets it wrong, the whole crowd gets to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the Reds? Who was that game the other day? I feel like it was the Reds. They had like 3 challenges. All of them went their way, and every single time the crowd just got louder and louder.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened at the Royals game. I think it was like only 1 challenge, but it was still like everybody got into it. So I think it's fun. I think it's exciting.
So speaking of refs, have you been paying attention to this potential work stoppage with the referees in the NFL?
I saw one tweet about it a couple weeks ago.
So they're preparing for replacement refs again.
Which would not be good.
What? Tell me what your thoughts are on this whole situation.
I mean, I think we saw it last time. There's just a difference between elite guys at any level and any profession. Elite guys that have been doing it and have experience versus guys that you just throw in the fire. And I think especially in the NFL where it's so bang bang and things happen so fast that just a normal eye can't see, and when you have years and years of experience, I feel like NFL referees over the last few years have been pretty, I mean, it's hard to find like 1 or 2 calls that you just completely hate. So I feel like they've been so good that we take advantage of it, and now or I guess take it for granted. I guess now if replacement refs come, who knows? I mean, it's not going to be good. I mean, anytime you kind of drop the talent level, whatever it is, it's not going to be good, especially at that high level.
I was trying to remember when the last work stoppage was, when the Hail Mary happened.
2012.
Yeah, and it's so much. When you get old, man, 14 years goes by and it feels like it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was trying to think. I was like, God, were you playing when it happened? You were in college.
Didn't we have replacement refs in like 20?
Last time it had it was 2012.
What am I thinking of?
I'm not sure.
The Hail Mary was it was Packers in Seattle, and that was 2012.
Yeah. That's what kind of turned it back around. I was looking up like, oh, okay, you were at SMU at that time. I don't know if there was a potential work stoppage. Was there like a threatened work stoppage since then? I don't know.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because I mean, I'm a Packers fan, I was a Packers fan, so that's probably what I remember. I feel like there was something while I played, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just...
Yeah, because that was when the work stoppage happened that time.
Oh, no, that is what it is. I was a Packers fan, and the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Where they both one signaled touchdown, the other one signaled incomplete pass.
That was Golden Tate, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Seahawks, they end up giving Seahawks the
Packers
win.
that's the one team they could never beat in the playoffs, was Seattle.
Yeah. That was...
like 3 times in a row. Packers teams were nasty.
But
too.
they kind of have they at the owners' meetings earlier in the week, they approved a 1 year, for 1 year this year, they have a replay center that can correct all mistakes. So if something like that happened, New York could step in and say, nope, they got that wrong. So it's only a 1 year rule, and it's to correct, specifically to correct mistakes made by replacement referees.
And so they could like even judgment calls, like they could say that wasn't pass interference.
Anything that's a game altering decision, they can change it.
Are they
I mean, it seems like every decision could be game altering, you know.
Are the referees trying to sit like what's causing this potential stoppage, or I guess replacement ref.
I mean, it's your typical. I feel like it's just your typical negotiation. Like I don't know. I haven't really like dug into what the demands are for the referees, like what they want versus what the owners want. I assume it'll all come down to money, like it usually does with things like this. But I know they've talked about the concept of full-time referees comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And what we've talked about is like they make enough money that it's a full-time job if they want it to be. A lot of them just want to go do other stuff because
Right.
they can make more money, and
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It's about money. The NFL has offered a 6.45 raise, but alleges the union is demanding excesses of millions of dollars in additional fees. The current collective bargaining agreement expires May 31st. The impasse between NFL and NFL referees is regarding compensation, benefits, and union demands. Referees threatening lockout due to significant disagreements over salary increase and marketing fees.
Marketing dollars, huh?
Marketing fees.
I feel, don't referees make like 180 to 200?
More than that.
Up to
we looked at-
400.
yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What are these
It
guys
was like
compl-
from $206,000 all the way up to over $400,000.
What are we doing? Only working on the weekends?
6% raise.
It's not a bad gig.
No,
I think most Americans would take any kind of raise
Yeah,
right now. I feel
right.
like most Americans are like, I keep going backwards somehow. You know, like,
6.45%?
everything gets more expensive. But you know what? That that probably doesn't match inflation.
Oh no.
So they, and the thing is, they know they got some leverage because what ends up happening is, I actually think the refs have a great position on this a lot of times because have you ever heard of a league where people actually are happy with the refs? Everybody bitches about officiating in every league in the world. Like, I've never heard of a league where everyone's like, you know what? Great officiating in this league. Great officiating. Everybody's always like, oh, the refs suck. The refs suck.
It's always something fun to point to.
Yeah.
When the refs suck.
Yeah, because half the people that are watching are mad that their team lost, and some call didn't go their way. So it goes under a bigger microscope when the actual, regular referees are out. Like, there might have been a couple of big mistakes that were made during that work stoppage, but I don't know. I wonder how much worse the officiating really was. Maybe it was, but it's like under such a microscope, and people care so much about the outcome of these games that if in any way, shape, or form the fans and the players and stuff feel like we don't have good enough refs out here,
Yeah.
there's an outrage, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe there's just bigger calls that were blown during that time, and I think we can all remember it was the Fail Mary.
That
so
was
like
the
that's
one.
the only one that people will remember. It was probably pretty solid other than that, but I don't know. I mean, you could get a bunch of former players and probably go have them be trained for 5 months before the season. So what month is it? April, May, June. Yeah. Stick a couple former players in there. I know the NFLPA always talks to
Well,
like,
they said that they're already bringing in the top officials from college football
Yeah.
to start training them in. So
there should be a program for former players to get into referees, like being a
How many
NFL
refs? How
referee.
many former players do you think would actually be interested in doing that?
If there's like a clear path where you don't have to go do like youth football or something like that, then yeah. I
Yeah.
think there'd be a lot of guys. But it's one of those things where it's the same as coaching. It's unless you want to basically be a bottom feeder for 4 years, you're not going to be able to kind of go up quick. So it's just something a lot of guys aren't interested in.
So if the pathway though was like fast, like you knew, like hey,
If you could be a NFL ref within 2 years, I think there would be a lot of guys.
you
Especially,
think that would be enough time to train guys like on
yeah.
how to do the job?
Oh yeah. I mean, you play it your whole life. It's not, you know what you're looking at. Like it's just, I mean, depending on what referee you are. I don't know all the names of them, but I mean, if you're a receiver, you're probably going to be a back judge or somebody on the sideline. So you know what you're looking at, and you know what's interference, you know what's not, and there's not many other calls other than that. So I don't know. I feel like it couldn't be that hard.
I think
Sure, there's a lot of technical
Yeah.
things, but
the
that's
biggest part is
studying.
knowing freaking every rule. That the NFL
That's what I
rule
say,
book
yeah.
is just
studying all the intricacies of the NFL actual rules. But I mean, with anything, I think a year of studying and just being around it, you could learn a
You
lot
could,
of
yeah,
it.
you could basically like set up a school.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you go to referee school for a year. It's run by the league, and you know, maybe you ref games.
Well, that's when you
know,
yeah,
but on
you
the like a
go to school, then you
Yeah.
can go to OTAs. There's a lot of opportunity to be just in the front of NFL players. Like OTAs are starting here in 2 weeks, so they have referees for OTAs. You can go to college and do spring ball. There's a lot of different opportunities just to get some practice and repetition. But I feel like a lot of guys would do it. I mean, who wouldn't want to make $400,000 just going to referee on the weekends, watch good ball?
yeah, yeah.
Diving into that 2012, there were several
Bad ones.
Yeah, like in a week 3 Vikings 49ers game, replacement official Ken Rohn admitted to letting have the 49ers coach Jim Harbaugh challenged twice while out of timeouts.
Not once.
Twice. So he got 2 challenges that he wasn't supposed to get.
So the rules, yeah, just
And then
define the rules.
in a Lions-Titans game in an overtime, an official forced a penalty for the wrong spot, giving the Titans an extra 12 yards on a drive that resulted in a game-winning field goal.
Well,
12 yards.
Did you see the Astros guy that struck out the other day?
Yeah,
and walked?
yeah.
That was pretty funny.
There was the Red Sox Astros.
Yeah, he struck out in 3 pitches, or 3
2
pitches
days ago. Yeah,
and like the third pitch
was a wild pitch.
Was a wild pitch. He swung, and it was like a stolen base, so like there was a lot going on, and
He
then the
stepped back
batter
in the
just like
bottom
stayed
box.
in the box
Yeah.
and then worked to walk.
Yeah, got on base. Happened 2 days ago. Yeah.
So they forgot that it was 3 strikes.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, somehow
everybody,
literally
the catcher,
everybody,
the pitcher, umpire.
Wow.
It was like they showed like people have screen grabs of like the actual
Yeah.
at bat.
Yeah.
Like a pitch
Yeah.
by pitch at bat.
Yeah.
Swinging strike 1, swinging strike
Okay,
2.
I did see it, but I was like scrolling on Twitter and I saw it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at here.
He
So
swung
I
at
didn't,
3 straight strikes.
bad swings too.
Yeah.
All bad swings.
Out of the zone.
and he walked.
Yeah, and he drew a walk.
Everybody forgot what the count was.
Yeah,
in the building.
you
I don't
think
know how
on
that
the TV
happens.
broadcast that they'd be like,
Something.
yeah, the guy who you run the score bug. You'd be
Not
like,
very well. I had the count wrong quite a bit on there. Might have been why I didn't run it forever.
Hey, did USA get their ass beat the other day?
In soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, we want to talk. You want to talk about that? We
I
can
don't
talk
know
about
anything
it.
about it. I know they kind of suck.
Hey, we'll take a break on that note, and maybe we'll get into that with Gehrig Dieter next. Sherm not available, so it's Dieter here on New Day. Say that again, buddy. So, what's going on at Chicken and Pickle? You guys getting busy? You busy for this? Is this summer going to be busy?
Yeah, summer's always big. Event season, graduations. Austin Dillon's doing, NASCAR drivers doing a pickleball event here in 2 weeks, April 17th, which will be fun. Doing a $5,000 for the winner pickleball tournament. So
Nice.
that'll be fun. Yeah, that's about it.
You going to be busy for the World Cup?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. We're still figuring out like a couple things, but we're trying to put some things together, watch parties, the whole nine. We'll be doing some for the USA games for sure. And as long as they're not ass.
They were pretty ass this past weekend. They lost to Belgium and Portugal in 2 friendlies, so their preseason games basically they don't matter in terms of like whether you win or lose.
And those are 2 really good teams.
But
too.
then I'm not reading. People are telling me they probably wouldn't even made the World Cup if they didn't get the automatic qualifier, right?
No, I don't think that's true. I mean, the region that the U.S. has to qualify out of, now they didn't in 2018. They failed, but with a 48-team field.
Yeah, they would have been
in their region. They almost certainly would have made it in, but they did get in automatically because of this hosting thing, which means they haven't played any real games. Like they didn't have to play any qualifiers for the past 2 years. So it's like we have no idea what this team is going to look like. Like imagine if the Chiefs just played 2 years worth of preseason ball, because like the last game they lost to Portugal. The second goal they gave up, they had just like subbed in 6 guys, which you never do in soccer, right? Like you can't even sub that many people total.
Yeah, in the whole game.
And so like they're not exactly sure who should be marking who on a corner kick, and it falls to a guy, and when that happens against a team like Portugal, the guy's going to score, So it's like it's hard to know what to make of the team, and like the coach is just tinkering with the formation every single time they play. There's like So
what are the expectation levels then?
Oh, you definitely. I mean, bare minimum is getting to the knockout.
Yeah,
stage.
they got to get out of the group. They have to get out of the group because they're in a 4-team group, and in this new format, most groups 3 teams are going to advance. Like 80% of the third place teams in their groups are going to advance. So like if you can't finish third,
what is it? 32 out of 48 and go to the knockout round.
Yeah.
So
and their group is like they're all 3 teams that are ranked below them in the national rankings or the global rankings. I would say that Turkey though is. You could make an argument Turkey could be better than the USA, but they're ranked below them.
They are probably better than the United States.
They've got 2 or 3 players that are like world class, but then like Australia, US is better than them. Doesn't mean they'll beat them, And Paraguay, USA is probably better. Not probably, they are better than them, but they could lose to them, So they got to get out of the group. But what they
sounds like expectation levels are low.
I think they took a hit. They took a hit with what just happened this past weekend, right or wrong.
With them losing?
Yeah, with just the way they performed in the 2 games. They gave up 5 goals to Belgium, and it's like, it's just, so the U.S., the ironic part about it is most people feel like this is they've got more talent now. They got guys playing over in the big leagues in Europe, which they hadn't had like back. You take Bees' team, Matt Beasler. In 2014, that team went down to Brazil. They were in the group of death. They weren't supposed to advance, and they did. They tied Portugal that had in his prime Cristiano Ronaldo, all that stuff. They beat Ghana, and they went toe-to-toe with Belgium all the way to extra time. And that team had a lot of MLS players and a few guys that were playing in Europe. This team has almost all guys that are playing in the big clubs in Europe and then a few MLS guys. And so everybody, like all the U.S. fans have been on this like, okay, we got our guys now. They're playing in the big leagues. They're playing for some of the best teams. Now we're going to compete with all these players. But they don't seem to have the same heart, and organization and togetherness that like Matt Beasler's team had. And I think soccer is one of those kind of games. And I don't know how you feel like on the football field. Like, talent's great. But if you don't have a group of guys that are working together and like giving it and like willing to suffer massively for the team, it's like I would rather have the team of guys that are all committed and bought in and know who they are and how they want to play.
Yeah.
Right, because like sometimes, like even in football, you put a group of guys together and they're talented, but what's our offensive game plan? What's our identity? What do we hang our hat on as a team? Because some teams it's like we run the ball, we stop the run, and that's how we win. Other teams it's like we throw it all over the yard, but we know who we are. And right now, the U.S. like the soccer team, it's like, what's their identity? We have no idea.
Yeah, last time they played meaningful games, I mean, they lost in the finals, the Gold Cup to Mexico. I mean that
wasn't with anywhere close to the roster because that wasn't an international window,
Right.
which meant the best players were still in Europe. I mean, it's just like you can't. We have no idea, honestly, what this team's going to be when they show up this summer. And that
seems like a lot, man.
That's
Seems
a
like a
struggle.
lot. Soccer's hard to keep up with. I'll tell you that.
It is. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. All right, we'll take a break. We got Dieter here in studio. We'll talk a little draft. We'll talk a little more Chiefs, and much more straight ahead on New Day with SSJ.